Hey, welcome back to Frontier Justice. My name's Josiah. We're picking up where we left off here in a series that I wanted to start calling Rental Fleet Review. One of the benefits of our ranges is that we have a really large rental fleet that has all different kinds of firearms on it. Some of the stuff that's new, really popular stuff that's oriented for duty carry, competition carry, everyday carry, all of those different things. And I get asked this question a lot of like, hey Josiah, what's your favorite firearm? What's your preferred handgun that you go to? It's a tough question to answer because for me, what really the answer is going to relate to what's my intended purpose or goal. So as we go through this rental fleet series, we're going to be looking at some stuff that fits some of my preference for everyday carry defensive gun ownership. But to start things off, what I wanted to do is I wanted to start off with a baseline. So we're going to collect some data of something that I carry every single day. This is a Shadow Systems MR920 Elite. Obviously, I've got some accessories on here that are going to increase my proficiencies. As we go through the series, we're going to shoot stuff that may or may not have some of these similar accessories. So we're going to need to factor that into our data just a little bit. But for today, we're going to collect some data and see how well can I perform with my everyday carry gun. And then as we continue through the series, we're going to see how does this new stuff that I've never shot, stuff that's brand new, how does it stack up to what our baseline goal is? So really what I want to tell you about is the accessories that I have on my firearm and why. So again, as I mentioned, I'm carrying a Shadow Systems MR920 Elite. This is very, very similar to the overall dimensions in the Glock platform. This is their kind of compact mid-size. This is like modeled after the Glock 19. For me, I've got a Trijicon SRO that's on there. And then I have the Radian Ramjet that's on there. So that's going to help me with some of that reduction in the recoil. So it's relevant to call these out because again, as we continue on, not all of the firearms we're going to shoot are going to have those accessories. So maybe we'll add some of those to some of our rental guns. We'll see, does that increase the overall total time? But really here for today, we're just collecting some data here on the everyday gun, the gun that I shoot the most. So it's going to be a little bit weighted. As we jump into the series here, I'm going to kind of split it up into two groups. I'm going to do a first impressions because a lot of these guns I've never shot before. So we're going to do about 50 rounds slow fire and just kind of checking some of the fundamentals or areas of the gun that can indicate to its performance. And then from there, every single gun that falls into this category of defensive everyday carry, something that's concealable, we're going to collect that data, seeing what's the total time split across 5 specific drills. And I'll explain that. All right, so starting out the series here, the first 50 rounds are going to be allocated to what we call a first impression. So like as I mentioned, we're just collecting kind of baseline data. This is obviously a gun that I've shot before and it does have those accessories. But as we transition, continuing through the series, we're going to shoot stuff. So for the first 50 rounds, it's going to be kind of first impressions, and then we're going to put that on the racetrack, so to speak, as far as shooting the same drills over and over and collecting that data. So starting off here, I'm going to be doing 3 distances at slow fire. So I'm going to do 5, 7, and 10. For the first distance here, it's nice and close. So really what I'm focusing on during this portion of the series is first impressions. How does the gun feel in my hands? What am I liking? What am I noticing? Obviously, this is very, very close for something that you should be proficient on. So we should see tight groupings here, but that's what we're going to want to pay attention to as we shoot other stuff through the series. So jumping right into it, I'm going to start off with 10 rounds at a relatively close distance of 5 yards or 15 feet. Just nice and slow fire. Focusing on good shot groupings here. All right. So not bad. Might have shot more than 10 there. It's hard for me to count. I got to use my fingers. So nice tight grouping there. That's what we want to see. We're very, very close to the target, just kind of first impressions out of the gun here. So we're going to change the distance and continue on. All right, so continuing on, we're 10 rounds into our process here. Now we're at 7 yards or 21 feet. So we're just going to continue on 10 rounds here. Same thing, nice and controlled, focused on our fundamentals. All right, and we're secured back in the holster there. So we're 20 rounds in. Again, Grouping's opening up just a little bit as I get out to my distance, but we're staying consistent. That's what we want to see. Now we're going to move on to our next slow fire distance of 10 yards. All right, so feeling good. Now we're at our last slow fire distance of 10 yards. So we're going to do an additional 10 rounds here and see what the grouping looks like. Again, slow fire, nice and controlled. And nice and secure back in the holster again. So as we started off, we're nice and close at that 5 yards, nice tight grouping. 7 yards opens up a little bit, and then at 10 yards, that should be where we see the maximum difference of it opening up as far as the shot grouping is concerned. But a good first impression on this firearm. Again, something that I've shot before, but this gives us a good baseline. Okay, so 30 rounds in, we started off with our slow fire. Now we're going to transition into some additional drills. Again, this is first impressions. As we continue on into the series, you're going to see we're going to shoot 5 drills in specific and collect the shot time data. But for right now, getting the impressions on it, what I'm going to be doing is shooting 1 shot from holster. I'm going to do that about 3 to 5 times. I'm not going to record the time on this section of it because the goal really here is just to kind of practice a slow, medium, and a faster speed of cadence. So I understand how quickly I can move when I'm actually under the stress of the time clock. So just a couple of reps here from the holster, going through the process. Starting off just at a relaxed, hands low down to your side, a natural ready position, and then going through it. Turn to the holster. So I kept it there inside of my shot grouping, which is good. I'm at 7 yards, so I want to maintain that consistency. Inside of the 8-inch circle is my minimum standard, but I really want this to be nice and close because I'm not under the stress of the time clock. So that was kind of my slower paced. Let's go to kind of a medium paced, same drill, relaxed posture. And back to the holster. Now when I kind of bowled up to the top of it, I started to rush my process and I was like, hey, I'm falling behind. And so I let that round go once it entered my minimum acceptable standard of 8 inches. But I really want that to be higher. So let's try that again. And there we go. That felt much better, a little bit more natural. Let's give one more. And very good, at 7 yards, keeping most of my shots there in that original shot grouping. I'm still on that same target. So that's really what I want to see. All right, so continuing on into our, again, our first impressions, but we're shifting from the slow fire into some drill fundamentals. What I'm moving on into next is the Bill drill, designed by Bill Wilson. This is a drill that you're going to continue to see from our series that will create a very well-known drill here in the industry. The idea behind the Bill drill is that it's going to test your proficiency in a couple of different areas. The first one is your draw efficiency, so your ability to get the gun immediately onto the target within a timely manner. It's going to test your trigger management, your grip pressure management, your consistency, and then your recoil management through the process. So I'll be drawing from holster. Again, during this section, I'm not recording the time. We're gonna see that coming up as we get past first impressions, and we'll continue to record that. But I'm gonna do this just a couple of times. It'll be from the holster, draw 6 rounds, and we'll see how much the shot grouping opens up and how consistent we can remain through the process. So let's make sure that I've got at least 6 rounds in my gun. Go ahead and top off with a full mag and return back to the holster. So it's going to be a draw, 6 rounds. Again, a relaxed posture, just kind of a natural neutral. And safely back in the holster. So my first shot dipped just a little bit for me. We saw that earlier in the series when I was doing my initial draw from holster. So I want to factor that in as I continue through my process. I'm going to stand up a little bit straighter. I'm going to drive a little bit more efficiently. So let's go ahead and shoot this drill again, 6 rounds from holster. That time I was a little bit more consistent. I like that. Let's give it one more just for good measure. All right, and so that time I kind of went a slow, medium, and a faster pace, but I got a little too predictive on my trigger, and we see that coming down low and to the left for me as a right-handed shooter. So now I've pushed past my minimum accepted standard just a little bit. I'm right there on the line. That's not what I want to see. So now I've reached that maximum of how fast I really want to go, and I need to factor that in as I get on the racetrack and record my times. All right, on to our last drill of the first impressions. We're going to do the Todd Green fast drill. So I'll be drawing from the holster. I'm going to fire 2 rounds to the head box, so a smaller hit zone. I'm going to perform an emergency reload and then fire 4 additional rounds to the body there. So my goal here is I need to set my gun up in order to achieve this. So I've got a spare magazine that I'm going to be drawing from for concealment purposes, my spare extra mag, and I want to set my gun up so that I have 1 round in my magazine and I have a round in the chamber. From there, it's going to initiate that emergency reload through the drill as we continue on. So without the time, just getting our impressions of it, starting from the holster, here we go. To reset this drill, I've got my extra mags already staged here on the table. So I've got 1 round in this mag, still 1 round in the chamber. I can insert that, go back to the holster. And then I already retained my partial mag that has at least 4, if not more. So the goal now is I'm ready to go. I can jump right into the drill a second time. Doing it again. Same thing, we'll set it up. We want to make sure we've got at least 4 rounds in that spare mag. And then the mag I'm setting in the gun has 1 round with 1 in the chamber. It's going to give us 1 more attempt. All right, not bad. So again, at my cadence here for the first impressions, I want to go slow, medium, and fast. On that last final attempt, that's where I'm going to get a little bit faster on the gas pedal. So we'll see those shot groupings open up, but I kept everything inside of my minimum accepted standard, which is an 8-inch chest box and a 5-inch on the head zone. Joining me now here is Jason, our director of our training program here at Frontier Justice. He's going to serve as my RO, and he's going to make sure that the data that we're collecting here, he's going to hold me accountable to it. All right, so what we're going to be shooting for this series is the Wilson 5x5. It's a combination of 4 specific drills. Similar to what we started off with in the first impressions, it's going to test a specific area of proficiency or capability with the gun. So stage 1 is going to be starting off at similar to the build drill. It's going to be 5 rounds from the holster. So Jason's going to be running the shot timer for me on that command. I'm going to draw, do 5 rounds. We've hung new paper so that we can verify our hits on target. For the majority of these, we want everything to be in the chest zone. There are 8-inch acceptable circle. And then for the final drill, we will transition to 1 headshot for a failure to stop drill. So we're going to be starting off with drill number 1, which is 5 rounds from the holster.
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Jason,
5 rounds
ready?
from the holster. All right. 5 rounds from the holster. Shoot at this time. Do you need load and make ready?
Let me verify. Round in the chamber. Got at least 5 rounds in that mag, so I'm feeling good.
All right. Shoot, understand the drill. 5 rounds from the holster on the shot timer. Shoot, ready? Stand by.
Ah,
3.04.
not the best. Not the best. That's
First
all right.
shot, best split is going to be 0.1.
Okay, best split point.
Cool.
1. And we'll look back at the footage. We'll see what that first shot was. Jason's playing tricks on me as far as the delay on that shot timer.
Trying to figure out the new
got
shot
me pretty
timer.
good there, though. That's good. That's good. That's
All
what
right.
we want to see. Let's
What we
move
got
on
now?
into our next drill here, which is going to be 5 rounds strong hand only. So
5
I'm gonna
rounds
draw
strong
with
hand
both
only.
hands, extend, and I'm going to shoot 5 rounds.
Perfect.
Okay?
Need to verify?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and verify real quick. Let's see here. And just for my own sake, I want to spare
Perfect.
mag.
Right.
Get that staged. All right, we're nice
All right.
and secure back.
5 rounds, strong hand holy from the holster. Shooter, understand the drill.
Yes.
Shooter, stand by.
All right.
3.31.
Total time at 3.31.
Yep.
Okay, not bad,
Not
not
bad.
bad. And I kept them all in there. That's what's more important. We don't want to go so fast that we're getting shots outside of our 8-inch hit zone. Anybody can go fast and get a miss. Not everybody can go fast and get a hit. So that's what we're always striving to do. Let's move on into our next drill here, Jason. So that's going to be 5 reloaded 5. So we're gonna need to set this up with only 5 rounds total in the gun. So let's make sure I got a mag of 4, which I do here. All right. Jason, when you're comfortable, I'll go ahead and stage this.
Yep, go ahead and load, verify, make ready, set the gun up.
All right.
Take the holster.
So I've got 5 total in the gun. I'm gonna do 5, reload 5.
Shooter ready.
I am ready.
5, reload 5. Stand by. Back to holster, combined 5.58.
5.8, that's a good time, but if you notice, I've got 1 outside
Full
of the
one.
distance, so that's gonna hit my, that's gonna be a miss on there. That's gonna affect my hit factor.
Absolutely,
We calculate everything at the end. So now we've got 1 final drill in the 5x5. We're gonna do 4 to the body and 1 to the head. That's gonna be strong hand, both hands, so.
All right, 4
Ready
to
if
the
you
body,
are.
1 to the head. Shooter, need to verify?
I'm good.
All right, stand by. Back to holster, 2.86.
2.86, okay. So
With
that
all-
was probably my cleanest run.
Absolutely, all clean hits there. Notice the cadence change as we're going from high center chest to the precision shot to make the headshot. Good time, good clean run.
Awesome. Well, that's exciting. I love shooting, you know, my everyday gun. It's a good idea for you to know what your limitations are.
Absolutely.
With what it is that you're carrying to defend yourself and others. So we've got a good set of data here that we've collected for my everyday carry gun. As we continue through the series, we're going to see how does this stack up to some of the other stuff that's in our riddle fleet. So stay tuned. Okay, so I want to do a reload drill.
Okay.
All right, we talk about having a spare mag.
Absolutely.
Always, right. 1 is none kind of a situation.
Absolutely.
You know me, I'm a minimalist. You know, I don't like to carry a lot of bulk. You know, a lot of people tell you got to carry an extra mag in case you need the ammo. We always say you got to carry an extra mag
For the
case
malfunction.
Malfunction, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so
Get back in the fight.
Glad we're on the same page.
Get back in the fight.
But let's go ahead. We're going to do a reload drill here. So we're going to emergency it
What's
out.
course fire? 1, reload 1.
I don't know how many's in this mag.
All right,
like
so
3
we're
or
just
4,
going to
so
run,
just-
run the slide lock, emergency
as
reload.
many as the target needs is what we're shooting.
Back to holster.
Got it.
What was that?
As many as the target needed.